Hey everyone, how's it going? It is either Randy Chavez coming at you today with a Veve OMI update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. And become a member, there's lots of perks. Also, wraithx.eth domain name. So we have quite a bit to go over today. We will get started on the OMI. OMI, which had a very nice run up over the last couple days, is down 13.6%. If you were waiting, you didn't want to buy the top, if you didn't want to go on and buy into the pump, now is your chance. Could we go lower? Absolutely. There's many things that could cause us to go lower. But being down 13% from all the hype, if you say that I wanted to buy right now, I wouldn't tell you not to. Now, we do have about 1.8 million in volume over on the day, so it's actually decent volume. The rest of the market is, we've been operating a bit independently from the market in general, but the rest of the market is down, at least the top 10. Most of it, I think in the top 20, only Leo token is up over 1%. Everything else is down or flat. So like I said, the market is down. I don't really think that necessarily had anything to do with why OMI was down. I think we just ran too much too quickly, coming down, consolidating down here. Where do we go short term? Not sure. But speaking of OMI, we do have Puddin' Cheek saying, in the past month, on-ramps into crypto improved for consumers. Without putting words in this post for bot trolls, I'll just show this picture. Integrated directly in the browser extension and mobile apps, you are looking at MetaMask here, and in the MetaMask you have card payments, and in the digital wallets, you also have what they say Apple Pay, Google Pay, and PayPal when available. So it is easier to go on and get crypto, as Puddin' Cheeks describes. And then Brock McBlockchain says, you mean people can't just buy OMI with PayPal now? And then you have Puddin' Cheeks go on and answer with a GIF from Sylvester Stallone that is in Rocky 4. Anyway, Puddin' just says that this is general good news for the space. It's not really related to Veve or OMI in any way. And again, speaking of OMI, we have Veve Meister saying, while OMI is on a temporary downwards trend, there is a lot happening in terms of whale movements. You have two immutable X bridge, almost always around 10 million OMI, which is very likely to be utilized for MCP points collecting. Confusing, almost 1 million worth of OMI also being sent to the immutable X bridge. Very confusing, 11.7 million OMI being sent from immutable X bridge to the burn wallet. Anyone makes sense of this? And Puddin' Cheeks responds, that is the layer 2 OMI burn wallet sending tokens to a layer 1 burn wallet. It's been doing that since migration, so good times there. In the crypto news, or the larger macro, we have Bitcoin LFG saying, breaking, big Chinese banks are backing crypto operations in Hong Kong. So this is pretty good news for a couple of reasons. That might be a little bit of a hedge just because the Fed rate hikes or continued Fed rate hikes might cause people to think that we might have a big correction coming in after an inverted yield curve. So if you go and you have things to combat that, saying, oh, this is really good for crypto, a BlackRock ETF or spot ETF going and getting approved. There's been dozens of applications for Bitcoin ETFs. So hopefully that's something that can combat it. Maybe we have another leg down, not sure. But we do have a post from Michael Van de Pop, who has 664,000 followers over on the X. I'm going to start saying X now instead of Twitter, saying, this is the longest bear market in history for Bitcoin. It might feel like a ghost town in crypto. It might feel like there's not even going to be a bull cycle anymore, and I understand why these thoughts are here. But why? Well, people base their decisions on history. Historically, and if you're in the markets for a longer period, you know that Bitcoin goes through cycles. These cycles have a period of expansion, big correction, accumulation, and renewed expansion. However, not every cycle is on the same length, and that's what's expressed in the chart. The current bear market is relatively comparable to what we've witnessed in 2015, a period of sideways action where the faith in crypto is slowly getting lost as well, despite the fact of solid and fundamental growth. I feel like there's a lot more people that are more like Michael Saylor this run than there were last cycle. I'm just throwing that out there. It says, right now the price of Bitcoin is nowhere near the valuation of the peak in November of 2021. It's down more than 50%, and in a bear market of currently 490 days, we're almost 500 days into this bear market. Now, he's not even discussing altcoins or NFTs, as most of those have been dropping by a bigger percentage, minus OMI. OMI's up these last 30 days. I was saying, I know how it feels. Most people who read this have been experiencing their first heavy bear cycle, and it hurts. It did the same for me in 2018, 2019, or the Rona crash, or the current bear market. And just because it hurts, you'll learn. You'll keep moving forward, and you'll identify new opportunities and experiences, and you'll be using later in this cycle or in the next cycle to come. as Bitcoin is slowly getting adopted into governments and institutions recently, BlackRock having stakes in mining companies, and Valkyrie as well, multiple Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF applications, ETF in Europe going live, Hong Kong opening up for crypto, and Oman investing more than $1 billion in Bitcoin. The thing is, during the current period, these events are not being reflected in the price at all, such with OMI. Many of these things that they say they're working on are not priced in. The way that OMI works is people don't believe it's coming until it actually happens. And then when it happens, oh, I guess they were telling the truth all along, like they always do. But anyway, he says that's why emotions are coming from. Why is the market not moving at all? And from my experience in the previous cycle, it takes a long time, as we're currently experiencing the big time capitulation. However, after that stage has passed, which might be in a couple months, the expansion and acceleration usually tricks you. Sit on your hands, identify where your pain comes from, lean into those experiences, and in the coming years. So that is his post, and like I said, a lot of stuff really kind of resonates with a lot of the OMI crowd. This is a lot of people's first bear market. You have people that got crushed, you have people that kind of gave up and walked away, and a good amount of those people are coming back. So you see that as soon as it gets exciting, that's when people are here. Very, very happy I've been stacking the last few months. Also, speaking of OMI, we do have Block Talks with 33.2 thousand followers over on the Twitter, making a post saying the top gainers of the previous week are LPT, TRB, Ladies, KMD, Tomi, RLB, and OMI. And then he goes on and shows the top gainers of the week. And then, not only that, but their top influencer. And guess who it is? It's me! That is very fun. I'd like to thank the Academy. That feels really good. And they are associated with Crypto Rank platform, which has 194,000 followers over on the X. And shout out to Veve and Marvel today for selling out their Miss Minutes in 16 minutes. This is a secret rare. It's $30. I knew it would sell out. It's very similar to Veve, even though Veve, even if you saw Ant-Man Quantumania like I had, no idea who that really was. I forgot about that character up until we saw it. But Miss Minutes, just because she's voiced by Tara Strong, people really like her. She is currently, I think, the oldest living person to have ever voiced Harley Quinn. And that is as of today because Arlene Sorkin has passed away. Everyone comment F down below to pay respects for the first ever Harley Quinn. Oh, also, Akomi is now listed as a metaverse token on Crypto.com. So you go to Crypto.com, you can look at Render Token, ApeCoin, and look, Akomi's on there as well. So they are listed as a metaverse token. Again, this is just by Crypto.com. They will be listed as metaverse tokens across many other things in the future as it rolls out. As I guess will Earth 2's Essence next year also. So we have Legen_ETH over on X saying 16 months ago the floor was 40 ETH, which was $100,000 at the time. Today it is worth 5.4 ETH, and we are talking about Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Going on and looking at that, saying, will it ever see an all-time high? Listen, as a lot of other things have been going down, Veve's actually been up outside the last few days because people have been going on and selling some of the grails to go and buy OMI, which I understand that. I mean, I'm not saying that if I had a secret rare Miles Morales that I would sell it for OMI at this point, considering it's already gone up like 80% the last month. But I understand why people would do it. Let's say if that Miles Morales, let's say it's $15,000. Let's say that does a 10x in 2 years and it's $150,000, which it very well could be. I think that's definitely within the realm of possibility. I think in the next 2 years OMI does 100x. So that's, you know, some people I could understand why they'd want to do that. But again, you do have a couple, I don't want to even say dark horses. You just have a couple of these collectibles that everyone, like you have the hedge funds, you have the nerds, you have the people that just old school collectors, you have people that like things because they're scarce. You know, partner statue, you know, could do a 33x. I mean, would do 100x like OMI? Maybe secret rare Spider-Man's at what, 7K? $700,000 is a lot, but I think that could be a couple $100,000. Again, last bull market, you had really the only way you could buy it was just gems, and gems were fairly hard to buy. So I would say now, or in the next 2 years, when we have not just OMI to gem, but crypto to gem. And speaking of OMI to gem, I do have something to go over. I'll get to that in a second, but just so y'all know, for the Mutant Ape Yacht Club at $8,800, I would much rather get a secret rare Spider-Man for $7,100 or however much it is now than a Mutant Ape Yacht Club I even if they do see all-time high again, you have the world's biggest IP, the most well-known superhero in the entire world, Spider-Man, or a pixelated ape. This is not even a hard call. This is not even a hard question. I don't, give financial advice, but if Dashie's going to come to me and say, Chavez, what would you get? I would smack Dashie for even considering buying one of those over a Secret Rare Spider-Man, or over anything equivalent like that to a couple partner statues or 2 gold and silver Veve logos. I'd be like, Dashie, that's dumb. Anyway, onto the OMI to gem that I was talking about before. I was talking with a friend earlier, and it's like, hey, currently OMI is technically working within Veve, but it's also making a couple of Veve hodlers a little salty, because if you have no collectibles, you could just have 10 million OMI on the app, and guess what? You're making I think you're making 1,100. Let me take a look. Yeah, you're making about 1,100 points, and if I have 910 collectibles, 506 comics, 72 sets. Without OMI, I'd have 850, give or take, 850 points. So if I didn't have any collectibles, no comics, 10 million OMI on the app right now is more than that. And then, the vault value is worth 20-something thousand. Granted, that's not including the 41s. It's obviously off, but you know what I mean. I would tell people, hey, listen, that's just it right now. It started 3 days ago when we were 1,700 points for that. Now it's down to 1,100. Like I said, I think 750 is a really good level. 800 I think would be fine as well. But I think 750 would work also. Things will get better. You got to give them a chance to balance it out a little bit. But speaking of which, I was talking with a friend before, and he's like, hey, this is happening right now. What else can we expect OMI to do? What's the next catalyst? What's the best one? Well, the next one is OMI to bronze tickets, which is great. A couple times a week, depending on the drops, people will go and use their OMI to buy those bronze tickets, and it'll burn OMI. That's great. But that only happens at select times, a couple times a week. What's really going to be the big catalyst, I think, is OMI to gem, which probably won't happen until next year, because after the bronze tickets, the next catalyst that you're going to get for OMI is OMI to accessory, which is over in probably Q1 of next year. And then after that rolls out, then I think they can work on OMI to gem. Now be advised, they have a gem liquidity pool that Veve is going and donating $1 million of gems into that pool. So what happens is that because those gems are technically already paid for by Veve, what we as the people can do is we can go and take our OMI, buy those gems, that OMI immediately gets burnt, taken out of circulating supply. Perfect. And then we use them. But Chavez, what happens after the 1 million gems are gone? Well, whether it's crypto to gem, whether it's just buying gems with fiat, trading fees, cashing out, some of the fees on that is going to go to buying gems. So let's say, a small percent, let's say 1%, however much of it is, of the fees are going to go to buying gems from the store. So it doesn't necessarily go to OMI. It just, I guess it does. The fees go to buying gems. Those gems are then put into that liquidity pool, and then that liquidity pool, that's how it fills up. And then people can only use their OMI to buy that as long as the gem liquidity pool is filled. And I think every couple of years, Veve might give us a couple 100,000 gems. I'm hoping. We'll see. Anyway, but when talking about going and taking cash, taking profit, and where to do that with OMI. Back in the day when I was covering Tesla, and I was making Tesla content daily as I do this now, it was kind of an unwritten rule that you didn't sell your Tesla stock unless it was to go and buy a Tesla. I feel like the Veve fam is pretty similar, as in they don't really want me to actively sell my OMI, even if 90% of it's going to go to charity. But they would be comfortable with me going and burning it for gems, because if I use it to buy gems, well, I'm technically burning my OMI. I'm getting gems for it, but it doesn't. I don't necessarily make money on it. Or if I go to buy land eventually, I can burn my OMI to go and buy some land. So I think people are probably going to be okay with that. But this little blurb was kind of for the influencers. I don't know if we really remember when Dan Lee, Asian Dan on Twitter or on X. He had said he had sold a little bit of his OMI, I think last year at 005, and he just got crapped on. I mean, is that what happens when influencers go and sell their tokens? I don't know. It happened that time. I don't know what happens. Like I said, I'm an open book. I'll keep you all posted. I'll sell a little bit at a penny, 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents, and then, you know, go from there. Also, Bezoj Man strikes again, buying a Marvel comic #1, mint 53,380. I think this VV comic feed got it wrong, saying the floor price was eight grand. After that, but I saw a couple comics at like 6 grand, and there's no reason for him to spend. Let's say it was 7 grand or whatever. It's not a special mint. It's not anything that's crazy, but it's a. So I think he probably only spent maybe like 5K on it, which is fine. It's still a decent amount. But again, over the last 4 weeks, this person has averaged 1,600 collectibles per week. Only did 400 this last week, because one of the ones that he bought was a Aston Martin, one of 7, which was around 5 figures. So it was a lot. Oh, shout out to Tank42 on YouTube saying, just bought the VV Gold Loco. You're original and keep it real. I try to watch all your videos. Keep it up. Oh, why, thank you. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to do something which I typically don't do. You don't want to, you know, feed the trolls, but I think this would be fun. There's a couple of quotes here from some haters, and I kind of want to address it. One of the haters saying, Randy is the laziest YouTuber on the planet. There's nothing easier than being a moon boy. Dude has had a channel for 3 years and still doesn't know how to edit. I mean, I could edit, but I find it a little bit more authentic and a little bit more efficient to go and just turn the camera on and just talk. You know, again, I just think it's more authentic that way. But it was not easy to be a moon boy in the bear market. I mean, if this person were to go through like my DMs, especially on Reddit, you know, telling me to like unalive myself, telling me like I'm trash, this company's trash, and, you know, I'm a scam artist. You know, I'd say it's much easier to go with the grain and to go and say, oh yeah, David and Dan need to really answer for their follies. Which I'm not to say that I don't do some healthy criticisms or it's warranted, but in case some people actually believe this, I'm just trying to respond to these. They say he sounds like a moron every time I tune in. Nothing but dumb people left on VV, despite my buddy Omar saying, I'd say it's great content because look at the people that go on his streams. Editing is great, but it all depends on the person's character, which Randy has, and that gets people connected with them very down to earth. So, but again, for somebody that says nothing but dumb people left on VV, so I guess that's why people like it, that's kind of a very, very gross generalization, because there's crazy intelligent people on this app. There's crazy intelligent people that have gotten into the token on the app. Even some people that maybe don't understand, you know, all the nooks and crannies, but they know that something's here. They know that it's special. They know that VV's making money. They know that VV is the only platform that's making like real money, like millions and millions of dollars each month. And again, my good friend Omar coming to my defense saying, I don't think so, because there's CEOs that go on a stream and people that do very well with their lives. People at DCA, while many call it a scam, rug, etc., are now seeing that they were wrong. This happens the same with Tesla too. And again, just want to kind of go and address the haters. Anyway, that's it for me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Bye. Meow, 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 meow.